It was a warm summer evening when the Johnson family decided to go on a camping trip on the outskirts of the city. They were excited to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city and enjoy some quality time together in nature. As they set up their tents and started a campfire, they felt a sense of peace and serenity wash over them. The stars were shining bright in the sky, and the forest was alive with the sounds of crickets and birds. But as the night went on, they started to feel a sense of unease. The forest became eerily quiet, and a strange fog rolled in. The family started to hear strange noises in the distance, but they couldn't quite make out what they were. Suddenly, they heard a blood-curdling scream coming from the woods. It was unlike anything they had ever heard before. They tried to calm each other down, but their nerves were on edge. As they sat by the fire, they noticed that the trees around them seemed to be closing in. The branches were twisted and gnarled, and the leaves were a sickly shade of green. It was as if the forest was alive and watching them. The family tried to ignore the strange occurrences and go to sleep, but they were jolted awake by a loud banging on their tent. They could hear heavy breathing and scratching on the fabric. Terrified, the family huddled together trying to figure out what was happening. They tried to leave, but they were lost in the dense forest. They could hear footsteps following them. But when they turned around, there was no one there. Eventually, they stumbled upon an old cabin in the woods. They were relieved to have found shelter, but as soon as they stepped inside, they knew something was wrong. The cabin was filled with strange symbols and markings, and there was an overwhelming stench of rotting flesh. The family was horrified to see a strange figure in the corner of the room, staring at them with glowing red eyes. They tried to run, but the figure was too fast. It grabbed the father and dragged him into the darkness. The mother and daughter were left alone, and they knew they had to escape before they suffered the same fate. In a panic, they ran out of the cabin and into the woods. They could hear the figure chasing them, and they knew they had to keep moving. As they ran, the trees seemed to warp and twist around them. The forest was no longer serene and peaceful, but a living nightmare. Just when they thought they were safe, the figure appeared once again, blocking their path. It was a hideous creature, with sharp claws and teeth, and it was hungry for their flesh. The mother and daughter screamed for help, but there was no one around to hear them. They were trapped in the forest with no way out. After a long and terrifying night, the Johnson family stumbled out of the woods, exhausted and traumatized. They had been lost in the dense forest for hours, but they eventually found their way back to civilization. When they finally made it back to their car, they drove straight to the hospital. The father had suffered a serious injury during the attack, and the mother and daughter were in shock. The family was immediately taken into care, and the police were notified of the incident. They conducted a thorough investigation of the area, but they found no evidence of any strange creature or markings in the cabin. In the end, it was determined that the family had been attacked by a wild animal, likely a bear or a mountain lion. The strange noises and the figure they saw could have been their minds playing tricks on them in their heightened state of fear. While the Johnson family's experience was terrifying, it was a reminder of the dangers that lurk in the wilderness. They were lucky to have made it out alive, and they learned a valuable lesson about the importance of being prepared and aware when venturing into the unknown.